And let me check my mobile device to make sure we are live.
Can we do like Ginyu Force poses?
And you know what? We're all live. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. Yes. Oh my God, it's been a minute since I've done a live stream on my channel. But if you didn't know, my beautiful wife Sandra, say hey, babe.
Hey.
Hi, Sandra.
My beautiful wife Sandra and I, we're on vacation at the moment, and we decided to come and visit Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself, Richard Eso. How you doing?
Doing great. Hello, everybody.
And of course, while we're up here, of course, we couldn't be together and not do anything video-wise. We did something great on his channel, Fresh Vinyl Live, last night. So before we part ways tomorrow, unfortunately, we're doing something on my channel. And aside from my beautiful wife, Sandra, and of course, Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself, we got the queen of the monster art, Anguirus, biggest fan, Jessica Etchells. How you doing, Jessica? And of course, last and certainly but not least, I got my awesome co-host from Collectible Monsters, Kaiju photographer and model builder extraordinaire, the one and the only Eric Dopko. What's going on, David?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for including me. I feel like we're at a little mini reunion here, and I'm just stoked to be here. I loved what you did last night. Didn't necessarily love the topic, but I just love seeing y'all. You know, y'all are awesome. And thank you so much for having me invited to this one.
We appreciate this. Of course, this kind of came at short notice because we didn't really know when we were going to start or whatever. But we have 9 people in the chat. We got Helmy in the chat. What's going on, Helmy?
Helmy's awesome, man.
Yes, of course, Liam Foley.
Liam.
Yes, Liam. Awesome folks. And we're definitely... I'm going to give you a good show. It may not be as long as Fresh on Live last night. We're going to come straight into the point. And this topic of this video, or this live stream, I should say. What's up, Godzilla? What's up, Butch?
Yeah.
We're here to discuss what is the best 1964 Godzilla collectible that we have in our collections currently. Because if you don't know, myself, Richard, and David, our favorite movie and our favorite Godzilla design is, of course, the 1964 Godzilla, the Mothra Goji from Mothra versus Godzilla. And, of course, we're going to have some eye candy here with the ladies here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're here to discuss and some other random topics. Now, before we go into the 1964 discussion, Jessica, if you don't mind, you brought an awesome thing in here.
My God.
Would you mind?
Right. Got to see this.
Brought in here and explain to us what do you have.
So this has been a year in the making. Actually, if you really want to get into it, it's been 2 years in the making. The first year, I lost touch with this person, and we both completely forgot about it. I don't know how I forgot about this, but it eluded us. So I finally got back in contact with him because I saw him post a picture of it, and I was like, dude, we need to do this. So he's like, all right. So I told him what I wanted, how big I wanted it, what the plaque I wanted it to look like. We designed that together. And I mean, Sean Hadley knocked this out of the park.
It's beautiful.
Drum roll, please. Wow. Anguirus.
It is freaking massive. It's like suit accurate size.
So yeah, it is suit accurate size.
That's pretty awesome.
On this side here, it's got the 55 head, the 68 head, and the 2005 head. Not only that, it's got his name here in Japanese, and over here on this side is every movie he's been in. So
wow, that's pretty crazy cool.
Absolutely amazing.
Beautiful.
And plus, everybody loves Anguirus. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Arguably Godzilla's right-hand man. Of course, a case can be made for Rodan, but you kind of get a sense that Rodan doesn't really like Godzilla. But Anguirus, he's a ride-or-die kaiju for Godzilla. And that's why, you know, we love this kaiju so much. And of course, like I said, Jessica is the world's biggest Anguirus fan. No joke. She has the biggest and the best of just Anguirus figures. Anguirus figures in her collection. Is very impressive. From X Plus Marmots, you got this guy right here, you know, want to talk Anguirus, talk to Jessica.
That's right. All
Is
right.
that-
Right.
Is our girl Christine in the audience yet?
No, she
No,
doesn't
not
start
yet.
I
battling.
don't think so. Oh, there's Steve. Hey, Steve. Steve Sergioli's in there.
Hey, what's
Yes.
up, Steve?
What's up, Steve? What's going
All right,
on?
so I have one other thing, but I can't show it until Christine gets on.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So thank you for showing that, Jessica. Really do appreciate it. Of course, like I said, we're here to discuss our favorite 1964 Godzilla collectibles that we have in our collection. Now, before we go into that, let's talk about a little bit why we love the 64 Godzilla just a little bit. David, why don't you go first? Why, out of all the Godzillas that's out there, the 65, the 89, the 95, the GMK, even the 54, Shin, we ain't talking about the legendary Monsterverse because we ain't trying to get your blood pressure up. But out of all those Godzillas, why is the 64 head and shoulders above the rest?
You know, there's so many different reasons, Leslie, and I know you and Rich and I are really on the same page with this whole thing. I just think that it was the perfect film where everything came together. The story, the acting, the directing, the music, the sets, every single aspect of this film came together. And it was like the quintessential Godzilla film during the golden era of Japanese tokusatsu filmmaking. And there's just really so few negatives about this movie. It's fast paced. You're invested in the characters. The acting is fantastic. It's got Akira Takarada. I mean, how bad could that be? It's got villains, like slimy villains that you hate. It's got heroes. It's got a great story. It's got Toho pseudoscience and yeah. I mean, and it's the first time that Toho actually pitted two of their established monsters together in a film. Now, you may say, well, Godzilla Raids Again had two monsters, but neither one was Godzilla was established, but that was Anguirus' first appearance. Yep. He didn't star in his own film first, so they put Mothra and Godzilla together. And I remember seeing this for the first time on the 4:30 movie on Channel 9 in when I used to live in New Jersey when I was growing up as a kid, and I was just so in love with this movie. I used to be really upset when Mothra larvas defeated Godzilla at the end. But now I've come to realize that they sort of just won that battle. They didn't really defeat him. They just just got over on him that time because he wasn't expecting to be covered in silk. You know, that's the deal, you know, whatever. But the suit is nearly perfect. Nakajima had a really great opportunity to sort of move in that suit. He could emote. It's kind of crazy because of all the suits that have come, you know, after that, I don't know how he did it, but he sort of emoted in that suit and you couldn't even see his face, but he's just something about it. I just love just the vibe of the movie. And I could go on and on and on, but basically it is my go-to Godzilla film and I can watch it over and over and over again. And everybody is like sort of not on my case, but saying that I choose it to be my first choice above the 54. And it's just by a hair because the 54 is just, it's an iconic, phenomenal film, groundbreaking film. But if you want enjoyment aspects, it's got horror, it's got comedy, it's got spectacle, it's got human drama, it's got all that stuff. And it's really, really, really great. And I've said way too much about it. Let's hear what you guys think. I mean, I'm sure you agree with me on those points, but what do you guys think about it? Like, why do you love it so much?
Yes, you do, man.
So this is actually my second favorite Showa film. The first being Destroy All Monsters, and I know you said it was overrated last night.
You saw that. You saw that. Okay,
Better than your own
That's
hair.
why I was like, GMK overrated.
What?
So, I mean, David, you just nailed like every single part of it. It's the way the suit moves, just the flow of the movie. I personally think it's one of the most realistic. I mean, if you want to think of it like that, like a realistic Godzilla from the Showa era. I think it's one of the most realistic suits. I mean, it's beautiful, even with the flappy jaw that messed up. I mean,
Wasn't even as flappy as it was more flappy in Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster.
yeah. But I mean, like I said, David, you nailed it. I mean, what else can you say? It's just
Yeah, it's great, Jessica. That flappy jaw was actually made it more real for me anyway, because when Nakaji, that the film at the castle at Nagoya Castle was shot before the sand scene where he appears. So the suit got dislodged from the frame of the head, and it had that jiggly effect. And instead of fixing it, they just left it. And I thought that was a happy accident because it looked real. It kind of looked real.
yeah. That's
And
what I meant by it. It was the most realistic looking Showa suit.
absolutely, 100%.
I mean, just the way the suit flowed on Nakajima, like it was just a perfect fit.
Agreed.
What about you, Rich?
So, I echo everything you guys already said, obviously. It's my favorite Godzilla movie, hands down. No questions asked. And I will say the runner-up was Ghidra the Three-Headed Monster. So what's a 64 double tap for me?
Yep, that's right.
But it's so for the movie itself, it's the first thing I always as I'm hitting puberty here still. It's been after all these years of watching that movie. Obviously I've seen it when I was a kid back on I think TNT's Monster Vision.
Yeah.
When I think of Mothra vs. Godzilla, one of the first things that pops into my mind is the entrance Godzilla makes. It is my favorite entrance of all Godzilla.
So great.
Yep. Then it's also, correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time we actually hear what becomes Godzilla's theme, because in Godzilla 62, the theme was a little, it was bum, 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 bum. Akira Ifukube tweaked it in Mothra vs. Godzilla, and that became the dominant, the standard Godzilla theme every time he made an entrance.
That's very true. I never realized that. Yeah, that is the time where we hear it for the first time.
Yep,
in its current state. Yeah.
I mean, it sounded great in King Kong vs. Godzilla 2, but but the movie, it's fun. It's nonstop. Godzilla's the bad guy. He's the anti-hero before he becomes the hero. But he's still the villain. But you still find yourself rooting for him because it's Godzilla. So that's why I say he's the anti-hero. The human drama. Again, yes. We've talked about this last night. The human plot, human drama. It's still a science fiction movie. There's no such thing as a giant moth and an island of worshippers. But the way that it's played out, people have a problem. They've caused problems, but they're desperate. They need help. Let's call for Mothra. Yada yada yada. So the movie is just fun. I enjoy it. Even towards the end of the movie, there's that poor school of children, and their life is in peril and everything. It's just I don't know why. Sometimes I don't know why that's my favorite movie. It's hard when you got a catalog so wide as Godzilla's films, to narrow it down to one. But that's the one.
Yeah,
that's my go-to. Like you said, I could watch it over and over again. I could, even if I'm not necessarily paying attention, I could hear it in the background and it's playing in my head. I could even see the Godzilla's entrance right now. So it really, especially it was in the 1960s, was Toho's golden age of films. Mm-hmm. Which if we ever did something else to topic with, again, we could talk about the non-Godzilla films from this Toho in the 60s.
Yeah.
And we mentioned that last night. War of Gargantua, Frankenstein Conquers the World, Mysterians, Matango. Oh, yeah. So it was a great time for those films before it went, into the superhero genre of what Godzilla became. So that movie just hits everything that Godzilla was originally intended to be at that time.
That's exactly right, Rich. That's perfect. It's what Godzilla was intended to be. He was still a threat. He was still nuclear. He was still radioactive. And he was still posing a danger just from the radioactivity. And the infant island is just a tragic thing because that was based on the atomic bombs exploded in the atoll Bikini Atoll Islands, which was a real thing, and they just kind of took that and made it into the Mothra story. And it had such heart to it too. I mean, when the fairies or the twins are singing in that one last green spot, you can't help but get emotional about that. I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, the emotion definitely comes through. And even though we all love Godzilla, we kind of root for Mothra a little bit, because Mothra is a beautiful contrast to the twisted, pained, evil Godzilla, radioactive dinosaur. And even though we all love Godzilla, I know that. But it's a great contrast. And the fact that the U.S. distributors, American International, decided to sort of not let us know that it's going to be Mothra. They put that question mark there, and all of those like tentacles coming out. We thought it was going to be this big, scary, awful thing, and then it turns out to be this beautiful sort of like goddess creature. And I just love the 1950s advertising, and they just kind of totally threw us for a loop. But anyway, yeah, we all hit it on the head. Now, before Leslie goes, I don't think I know Sandra's opinion about this movie. I don't think I've ever heard her say exactly how she feels about it. So let's hear that now, if that's okay.
Well, I mean, I watched it. It's not, I think it's pretty much, what Rich said and what Jessica said. I mean, it's a beautiful movie. Not my favorite, but it's probably in one of my top 5.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And the cool thing about Sandra is, like, when I do pop it on, every time the twins sing, it's like, if she's like in the background, or if the TV's in the background, the movie's in the background, and Sandra's walking through and she's like cleaning or vacuuming or doing something, whenever the twins start singing, Don't That Kasa Kuyang, Sandra just sings like right along with them. And I'm like,
I gotta admit, I think we all.
Yeah. So whenever
we all do, believe me.
When the twin sings, Sandra does sing along with them. And I'm sitting there like, I'm trying not to cry because it's so beautiful.
It is. Well,
it's a beautiful song. It's a haunting. It's a haunting song. And if Ifukube knocked it out of the park with that song, and you get to watch it with Sandra, and I actually, that's one of the few movies that I actually watch with Keith, and he pays attention to the whole thing, so it's like, he's a huge Mothra fan, and that was one of the things we established early on in our relationship. 30 years this month we've been together, so I think one of the first conversations we had was, do you like Godzilla? And he's like, not really, but I really do like Mothra. I'm like, okay. It's all right. We're good. So
that's a piece of it, right? A piece of it.
But the reason why I love this film, I kind of went into a whole rant last night. Apologize.
No, I loved it. I loved it.
Oh, yeah, I was ranting too, after.
Rant is good.
Because there's no amount of love that I don't give this movie. Like it is so great, and that is saying a lot when you have Godzilla films. Like what Rich said, he has a wide catalog, and there are so many great entries in there. Yes, I mean the Godzilla films are kind of like a beautiful bed of flowers, but of course there's a weed here and there. Final Wars, Space Godzilla, but by and large, as a whole, he has a lot of films that are awesome, that are great, and to have this film rise above that just really shows, like you said, David, the story is great, the human characters are great, the special effects are great, the score is amazing.
Amazing score.
The look of Godzilla is awesome. Nothing against the 62, but I love how they slid them down. I love the darker paint job on the skin itself. Just the whole sinister look of Godzilla just works perfectly for this film. And it's no different than the 67 for Son of Godzilla, or the GMK Godzilla for GMK. It's like those designs work for that particular movie. And in
they really do.
In this movie, Godzilla is personified as the ultimate villain, like, the badass villain. It was perfect for this film. And so I can go on and on about it, but I don't want to, because I know I did last night, and I ain't trying to make this show 14 hours because, trying to be mindful of people's time. But Mothra vs. Godzilla, to me, Godzilla vs. the Thing, whatever you want to call it, is just there's so much love about this film, and it's my favorite for so many different reasons. Godzilla, the story, whatever. So it's kind of hard to pick what I love most.
It is. It
Because
really is.
there's so much to love, in my opinion. Yes, I know the film gets its criticisms. The fact that Godzilla got defeated by 2 babies at the end. Godzilla is clumsy a little bit. There's a feature in off-the-wall fight. Yeah,
It's a great storyline. It's a great storyline.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand it from certain people's point of view, but to me, those perspectives don't really get in the way of me loving this film.
No, absolutely not. There's small flaws, and yeah, absolutely.
Actually, one thing that we haven't mentioned is with this movie, Nakajima really nailed down Godzilla's style or
That's right.
body movements. Because from this movie on, Godzilla's hands were always here, and like the slow lumbering walk, like he really nailed it down in this film.
He did.
It's true because the suit was tailored to him instead of in the other films that happened before. It was sort of tailored to him in Godzilla Raids Again. He was able to move in that one pretty well, but again, the 62 suit was so big and bulky and cumbersome that he could only do so much in there. That's why there's a difference in his ability to emote even through all that rubber. And, the fact that Leslie said he's clumsy, it makes perfect sense that accident happened. Again, it's a happy accident because he wasn't trying to destroy Nagoya Castle. It was just kind of there, and he tripped and he fell into it. He's like, well, I'm down here. I'm just going to wreck it now. And he's like, get it out of the way. But he wasn't out to just destroy that building. He just kind of tripped in that well in the thing, and he did it that way. And one more thing, having just received a couple months ago the 4K restoration of King Kong versus Godzilla, next in line is Mothra versus Godzilla, and I know all of us are going to get that and add that to our collections. Even though the Criterion did a fine job, but I'm telling you right now, seeing that in HD 4K is going to be like I'm going to lose my mind. So anyway, look for that. There's no announcement of the release date yet, but I'm thinking the next few months, hopefully. But it looks like it's going to be another winner. So,
and also go back to Nakajima. Y'all mentioned about his performance as a suit actor because he come across very, very sinister. And
yeah, he did.
That just shows the range of Nakajima as a performer. Because we've seen him, be frenzied in 62. We see him become superhero Godzilla in 68 and 71. We see him become a father figure in 68 somewhat.
An astronaut.
Yeah. So all these performances, he just made it his own. But with this performance, he comes across very, very sinister, very, very evil and malicious, methodical. And the fact that when you really think about it, he's the only suit actor in the film. Mothra is portrayed by puppets in the film and props, so he's not really fighting against another human like in King Kong vs. Godzilla or Godzilla Raids Again. So the performance is really all on him, and he just emotes so much danger. And it's like even when he's just walking, he got his, like Jessica said, the claws and the mouth, whether it's roaring or his clothes, it's just amazing. It's just so amazing.
You made me just think the way you were explaining. It's like Nakajima was told, go out there and pretend you're hitting a pinata.
Nah, I don't think. I think Subaraya and Honda were a little bit more demanding of that. They were like they expected a lot of him, and it got to the point where Nakajima was so integral to making these films that they were like, we can't do it unless Nakajima is going to be in the movie. So that actually happened, and you're right. This was the one where he sort of got his legs, as it were, and he got his style to play Godzilla for the rest of the series, which is pretty damn cool.
Now, before we go into the collectible side of things, let me just ask you a couple rapid fire questions. Rich, is not going to be hard, so don't smack me in the back of the head, okay? It's not going to be hard. Okay. All right.
I don't mind hard.
Okay. All right. Now, what is your favorite scene involving Godzilla in Mothra vs. Godzilla?
Oh, man. I have to go first.
Yes.
Oh wow!
You gotta pick one.
That's it.
You gotta
There's,
pick one.
oh god, there's so many. All right. I'm gonna say, and this is gonna sound cliche, but it's when he appears out of the mud, out of nowhere. The ground is moving, and she's trying to focus on the plane, and it's moving, and all of a sudden you see that tail come up. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And then he just rises up there, and it's just like the rest is history. And then I'm going to include the scene where he shakes all the mud off, and they have a slowed down version of the Godzilla theme in that particular scene. So I gotta say, there's so many. That's the one I pick. Fight me.
Well, he just took mine.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, because there's a lot of great scenes on there. But we was talking about that last night as well, and I was just like, that was a beautiful, just beautiful. I mean, you know, what else can I say, David?
What about you? Your favorite scene involving Godzilla and Mothra versus Godzilla?
So for me, it's probably one of the most iconic pictures or scenes from that movie, besides when he's coming out of the mud, is when he's standing right in front of the egg cage. And he's just like, his tail is spread long now, and he's just standing there, and it's like he's like drooling almost, like how good this is gonna be.
But it's a profile view of Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you see the egg cage. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on.
It's
Not
pulled
mine.
back, and you can see the cage and him right there. And
He's just standing there like.
yeah, it's just
He's like this.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Rich?
Well, I think David just did my scene.
Yeah, the eyebrow.
Your scene was when it's a profile view.
Yeah.
You have Godzilla, you see his tail whipped out, and then the cage. Mine, even though as much as the entrance is amazing, the scene where Godzilla is staring down the cage,
Yeah.
the camera is slowly panning in on him, and he's looking. David, like that look.
Yeah,
just
David
like,
had
I'm
the
not gonna
eyebrow.
try to do it.
Like,
Yeah.
See, David's got it down. Yeah.
Because Godzilla's like, now he's focused. Now he's awake.
Yeah.
Now he knows he's ready to do his job and fuck shit
It's
up.
dinner time.
Dinner time, yeah. Because now he has a threat.
Yeah.
Now he's pissed off.
Right.
So that scene, that look, that's where we get that glazed over look on Godzilla's eyes.
Yeah.
That is iconic to the suit. So that's why.
Yep.
Leslie?
Once again, it's hard to pick. I do have one, and it would have been the entrance, and but that's not one I'm going to pick. I will give an honorable mention though, before I do say my pick. Honorable mention is when he gets through the second plan, and that I guess I don't know who he is, but the guy that was trying to get the children off the island, he's trying to tell the dude that running the boat, hey, we got to get to the island, you know, and get the children off. And Godzilla raises his head, and then like, yeah. That always get me. Like the way he just slowly rises up, and he's seeing all the people just scatter, like I said, like roaches last night. That's my honorable mention. But the scene that always gets to me is when after Kumiyama confronts Torohata about his money, and Torohata got his nose bloody, and he's all dizzy and delirious.
Oh, yes, I know what you're going to say.
He's like, and Godzilla is coming right there.
Yeah.
That is my go-to scene right there. It's like,
that's a great scene. And you know, Leslie, you picked
and it's like,
two scenes that were scary. Those are scary scenes.
And I mentioned this to you when we had that discussion several months ago, that in that scene is very, very appropriate because, like you said, David, what's so cool about Mothra vs. Godzilla because it has great human villains as well. But in that one scene, it's like one of the villains is taken out by a bigger villain, but then those two get taken out by the real villain of
the real villain in the film. Yes. And there's one scene that I have to give an honorable mention to, and it's the scene that is probably one of the very few moments of stop motion in a Godzilla film. It's not really stop motion, but the way the camera was working, it looks like it's stop motion, where Mothra is hovering over Godzilla and he's on the ground and he's kind of doing he's writhing right before he starts to Mothra starts to like release her yellow powder, you know, and it's that scene that goes on for a little bit. It's very reminiscent of stop motion. And I always wonder, how cool would it be if that entire movie was done in stop motion? I mean,
you know that
whatever.
They did more or less kind of, it wasn't true stop motion, but
it wasn't true stop motion, but it looked like it.
Forward, then it went backwards. It went
right.
Forward, it went backwards to give it that look, you know, that Mothra was doing flat. Exactly. So
it was impressive. It was impressive. And it was a nice little change from the normal tokusatsu fighting action that we see. And, you know, they also used so many different techniques. They used close-ups, they used puppets, they used busts, they use all kinds of different things. And one more thing I'm going to say is, you guys, I've told you guys this, but in the very last scene where Godzilla gets covered with silk and he tumbles, they cut to the scene, he's on the ground, he tumbles over the cliff into the water. That's actually the 62 suit.
Yes, I did know that.
Of course, because he was a stunt double. They was like,
that's right.
Yes, come over here.
So actually,
give me some.
Get your ass wet. Get your ass wet. Yeah.
So if you actually go through the history of Godzilla movies, you'll see they do that. A good example of that is the 92. The underwater scene is the 91.
Or in Gigan, they use a 67 suit for the water scenes.
That's
or
true.
in 71, when Godzilla
Excuse me.
When Godzilla gets drowned by Hydra and that muck, that was a 66 suit.
That's right.
So, but yes.
I never knew that was a 62 suit though.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, you know what? That scene when Godzilla is shown approaching Iwo Island, he's like in the middle of the ocean.
That's the 62 suit also.
I think I knew that part.
Yeah. But when he tumbles over, freeze frame it when he's like about to hit the waves, you can actually see the suit a little bit more bulky.
Yep. You see the profile of the face too, the reptilian, like, sort of triangular profile of the face. You can definitely see that it's a 62 suit, because they didn't want to get the new suit that wet, because they knew they were going to use it, which was filmed the very same year in Ghidra the Three-Headed Monsters. They didn't want to F up the suit, as it were. You know what I'm saying?
If you go back into any of the films, you'll notice it now.
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like in Godzilla vs. Gigan, they're using the 67 suit for the water scenes.
Yeah.
Destroy all monsters too. And when he was attacking New York, it's like, that's not.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
That's right.
Before we go into the collectibles, one more question, then we'll segue into it. What is your favorite human character from Mothra vs. Godzilla?
I'm not going to go first, because I don't want to be accused of stealing anybody's answer.
Yeah. I'll go first. I will first say, that's one of those hard questions. Favorite human character, though? I would probably have to go, and I'm horrible. This is where my knowledge is not up to where it should be. But
Let me guess, the scientist?
wasn't that Kenji Sahara?
No, that
Kenji
was
Sahara. No, that was God, I can't remember.
The scientist. Yes.
Yeah.
He was also in Ghidra the Three-Headed
Yes,
Monster.
Hiroshi Koizumi.
Okay, so yeah.
Hiroshi Koizumi-san. Yes.
I liked his character in Mothra vs. Godzilla the best, followed by the woman reporter lady, because I thought she was funny.
Junko.
You know, she did.
Junko.
See, I don't know this stuff, you know, but I thought they helped, you know, feed the plot to the audience.
Yeah.
You know, we were following them throughout the movie, you know, through their eyes. So those two characters, my choice. Sorry, that was my foot. I didn't fart.
It's okay. Jessica, what about you?
All
Your favorite human character?
So I gotta give an honorable mention about the guy that's always eating the eggs.
Oh, yeah, he was funny. Kumiyama? No, Kumiyama was the mafia or whatever.
I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah, the salary man who was always worried about getting fired by the boss.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm here on the beach because I'm more afraid of the boss than I am Godzilla.
That's right.
But
That's a good one.
my favorite human character is, I gotta go with my husband, Akira Takarada.
Of course.
Rich.
I need a brain fart. He's in that movie.
Yeah, he's the main. He's
You know he's in the movie.
I'm having a brain fart right now. I was gonna say before, I'm glad we didn't watch the movie recently because we're really like digging into what is embedded in my head. I'm having a brain fart.
You really forgot to talk about him in that movie?
He's the
You really forgot
main
that?
newspaper reporter.
He's the one that I'm thinking of then. Not the scientist. Who's the scientist?
That's what he's doing.
What's the scientist? I don't remember the scientist in the movie.
He's the guy that was working on
You know
Monster's
he's
head.
scraping the
Remember
egg.
Okay, yes, all right, that's right.
He's the one that put them in the decontamination booths and like said, "What is this thing you brought me? Oh, it's radioactive." You know, he was good. That's a good choice. Nothing wrong with that.
It's been a while since I watched it.
It's time to watch. Let's all watch tonight.
Hashtag not a true fan.
Watch Godzilla vs. Kong.
No.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the scientist.
The scientist?
Yeah, because
Okay.
actually.
Okay. David, what about you? I'll go last.
Well, I'm going to go a little bit against what most people would think. I'm going to say the main protagonist, Kumiyama, is a really integral part of that story because he's the one that creates this whole drama. He takes the egg, he buys it for, 9,870 billion chicken eggs, whatever it is, and he's just a slimy villain who's just out to make money and to screw everybody, and he's the main protagonist in the film, and he even I don't know if he's even worse than Torahata is. Torahata is just pulling the strings. Kumiyama is the one that really propels the story forward and gives them a reason to sort of really try to get the egg back and everything. And an honorable mention has to go to Yumi and Imi and Yumi Ito, the fairies. They're just reprise their role from Mothra, and they're just they give a sense of humanity to the film. And none of these actors phone it in. They all take it very seriously. And that's the thing that I really like about this movie is they treat it like it's really happening, and even though they have to imagine things are big and everything, they do a phenomenal job. And I just love the way they interact with everybody in this film. And those are my two. So Kumiyama, the great entrepreneur, and the tiny beauties.
Mine. I'm sorry, Rich. Which one was that?
My brain fart is now past. Now I'm thinking of Akira Takarada in the film because he was the other reporter.
Yeah.
And now I can clearly see him in the film, the poster where he's doing kind of like that. Yeah. So now it's like anyway.
My favorite character from the movie, and ironically, he's not really in it that much, but whenever he's on the scene, in the scene, he just commands your attention. And I'm surprised nobody has ever mentioned him, but the angry editor. I love that dude. Yeah. I mean, of course. I love that dude.
He's
Anyway,
the commander from '62, also.
yeah, and he also from Water Gargantua.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
Atragon.
Monster
Yeah.
Zero, Sea
Yep,
Monster. But like I said, he's not in the film that much. But
Such dorks.
yeah, but whenever he
I feel like
is on screen, and he's very, very super serious. He's trying to get his paper, up and running. He gives the egg guy crap or whatever. But I just love him. But once again, he's not in the film that much. He doesn't really add too much to the plot, but he's a character that you remember. And that's what's so cool about at least the Showa films. Like, they had great human stories and great human characters that you remember, And he was, no disrespect to Takarada or Kazumi or Kumiyama, but the angry editor is my favorite character. Now,
That's perfect.
Now, let's talk about the reason why everybody is here. We're talking about the toys and the collectibles about our favorite Godzilla 1964 Mosu Goji. And as you can see here, we got, between myself, Rich, and Jessica, and David, we have just maybe one or two back around over here. Oh my God, we have between my M1 giant rubber kit, like what David has, SH Monster Hearts that Jessica brought. Rich's 25 centimeter 64B, the gigantic, which we'll talk about. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Uh-oh.
The favorite sculptors line, the 30 centimeter Rick Boy reissue with the blue Joseph plates. Of course, the new kid on the block, the KOC 1964 model kit that, of course, David built for Rich, and of course he has one.
And Leslie's just been slobbering over
I've been slobbering over
2
that.
days.
I want it so bad. Yes.
He's been staring at it.
I mean, he's sitting in front of this random
in my
man.
kitchen.
I don't want to hear it. I told him many times that his ass needed to buy that, and I'll build it for him. He's like, no. And guess what? You know what? You'll find one day, and then I promise I'll build it for you.
I appreciate it.
I'm jealous because when I saw it, I was like, damn, I want that.
Yeah, and then Jessica
I'm
started
not-
slobbering. I'm like, look.
I'm not a resident.
Yeah, she does it. I think it's gorgeous.
It's
It's absolutely beautiful.
Before we get into that, all I'm going to say is I'm going to try to hold my thoughts for this.
For your review.
My review. Yeah, but I will answer questions and everything diligently, as much as.
Yeah, so we have a great representation of the Mosa Goji,
So nice.
here. And since we're all Mosa Goji fans, we're here to talk about just a little bit what we think may be the best amongst what we have. Come on. Her baby.
Yeah.
Power Baby, we got a Giga Brains that my buddy Brandon got, who will probably be here shortly.
You know what? Let's just go ahead and head into it, whatever. Which one? Everybody has an opinion, whatever. And if you don't know it, just point to it and we go from there. Which one do you think is the weakest before in this bunch? Like I said, I have the M1. We have the M1 here, the gigantic 64, the KOC. We know he ain't going to make that. But we got the 30 centimeter Rick Boy reissue favorite sculptors line, the 25 centimeter, the Para Baby, even the small little one that came with the museum set. But in your opinion, which one do you think is the weakest? Jessica, you go first.
I say the bigger ring.
Which one? That right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's a stylized figure, but actually, hold on.
We'll wait here.
Yeah, I think it's good. I'd say the Power Baby. It's not as strong as of a sculpt.
His mouth looks better. Look at his mouth.
Maybe I just gotta have the dentist.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's gonna finish the tattoo.
Yeah,
Kamunga's the dentist.
I'd go with the Power Baby. It's not as strong of a.
So that's your final choice, Power Baby?
Yeah.
David, you go next. Which one do you think is the weakest? Here.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you which one I think the one I was most disappointed with, that I was most looking forward to. And Leslie, you're gonna be mad at me. I know. The gigantic X Plus 64. I was very disappointed.
Hey, what are you looking at me for?
I know this.
And let me explain. Let me explain, because there's several reasons that I think that. Number one, the proportions I think are a little bit off. The head is a little too big and the hands are a little bit too small. And that's not a major thing, but the thing that gets me the most is the way that even the Rick version is supposed to have a closed mouth. It wasn't even closed all the way. It didn't seem to work. And it was the pose. I know it's supposed to be in the striding pose. It just didn't quite make it for me. And it really disappointed me, so much so that I actually sold it. And I sold it to a really cool guy, actually in Jersey, Vincent Perez, who absolutely loves it. He's on Leslie's team. Yeah. So I'm stoked that he loves it, and I wasn't a big fan of it. And I'm hoping that maybe they'll do another gigantic 64, maybe a Sakai, or maybe I don't know. But I have to say I was very disappointed in it, and that's rare to say because I really do love most of the X Plus Gigantics. They knocked them out of the park. But I was very disappointed in this one. I'm sorry to say.
Leslie doesn't understand this yet, but this is coming home with me tonight.
Sorry, that's just the way I feel.
You know what? I'll put you on the spot since you have said that. Between this one and the KOC, which one you grabbing first?
This one.
Woo!
Yeah. Does that mean you're grabbing the KOC? We'll fight.
I'll probably see you to this one.
Wait,
I love you, Rich.
Wait, who's going bald here?
You're older than me. I mean, you don't fight vertically challenged people.
You're not vertically challenged.
Yes, I am. I admit that.
No, you're not. You just.
Ask Sandra how I was trying to get the bowl out of the cabinet yesterday before dinner.
I was like, you want me to get that for you? He's like,
I had to use a wooden fucking spoon.
yeah, you did.
I have pictures of him at my house where he can't get a movie off the top shelf.
Anyway.
Anyway. Anyway, about you, which one you think is the weakest?
Right there.
Which one?
Right there in the middle.
That one?
Yep.
The original 64?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. I have my own opinion set. The reason why.
I mean, did you see this thing?
Yeah, I saw that, but the reason. Well, yeah, I know.
You're going to have to get some boxing gloves.
No. The reason why I say that, because if you look at the other 64s, it's the jaws for me. See, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hand it to me.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, because the rest of them has their head tilted down a little bit more, and their jaws are more puffier right here, right? It's just like that picture. You know, that picture is a beautiful picture. And that's the way the rest of the 64s are, but this one is not to me. And even his eyes are a little bit more sharper with the bigger puff in his jaws. And to me, it's his face that looks. You know, his face doesn't look as good, and his jaws. His
Hi,
mouth.
Christine.
Yeah, Bozo's on.
Okay, we can respect
I mean,
that.
that's just.
Hey, you know what? Everybody has their own opinions. I respect your opinion.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because not everybody loves that 64, even though it's regarded as one of the best.
Yeah, these.
I
love the other ones, the other 64.
I mean, but there are some people that don't really care for that one either. So there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you know me. I'm gonna have my own opinion, and I respect everybody else's.
Right on.
What about you, Richard? Which one you think is the weakest?
Gigantic.
Oh, that was quick.
Everything David said.
Did you feel that head chop off when he said it? Gigantic.
Everything David said, but for me, it falls short because it's in the same pose as the 62, practically. So I felt it didn't help its case. I wish he was more standing up straight, head up more,
Me
like
too.
30 centimeter. The eyes are kind of looking. The mouth is clearly not what was
Promise.
promised or promised or promoted.
He's trying to breathe.
Because
Come on.
you're not going to be able to see it on the footage, but this is the closed mouth.
I know it. It's not.
This is
not
not
right.
closed by any means. Now, Bozo out there is going to like this part, but the 89, they nailed it. They nailed the closed mouth on the 89, and that hits all the right spots when it comes to having a closed mouth Godzilla. This falls short in every imaginable way. I also went Rick. Now, I do like the blue dorsal plates. It's a nice touch. It does mix things up a bit from, again, all the standard style dorsal plates. That looks good. But this is the weakest link. You were voted off the island.
Goodbye.
All right, now Leslie's got to.
Let me.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear Leslie's. I don't think I know this answer.
Let me address one comment that I see that I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's from Alex Sawyer. He said, "I may get shit, but 62 is better than 64." Yeah, in a cheeseburger eating contest, but we ain't talk about that. So we ain't gonna go there with the 62 better than 64. Cause we ain't talking about fat thighs and Muppet baby face. We talking about the Godzilla that actually instilled fear in people, and not the overwhelming need to give it a hug. So we ain't talking about that. But in my opinion, I think the weakest one. Ugh, God Almighty.
It's tough.
Ugh, God Almighty. I'm gonna go with the favorite sculptors line version. Now I have that figure. This figure right here. I like it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just something about it that seems a little bit off. To me, he kind of comes across as a 64B Godzilla from Ghidra, but that's not the figure that they were advertising for.
I agree.
You know, so I do find it the weakest link, but that doesn't mean that I don't particularly care for it, because I do. I really do. I wouldn't spend as much money for it at the time if I didn't care for it. But between all the figures here, I do find that to be the weakest link. Now, here's the next question, and it's more directed towards you, David, and you, Rich, because you have the KOC kit. And it's something that Ryan Mitchell said earlier. I was going to bring attention to it then, but I figured I'll wait now to make it more spontaneous. But we both know that the original 30cm 64 and the KOC was sculpted by the same guy, Akira Ibaraki, right?
That's correct.
Which one is the better sculpt by Ibaraki?
There's no way that I can't go with the resin piece, just because you cannot get the detail and the amount of detail in the skin and the face from vinyl that you can from resin. There's just no question. And I think that as awesome as the X Plus closed mouth 62 is 30cm, the KOC just takes it up a couple of notches. Just the size. I mean, that 10cm difference really makes a difference. And I think that's the perfect scale for this particular Godzilla. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's like right in the middle. The fact that it has the clear lenses over the eyes, which were a pain in the ass to put on, I might add, that was really hard to do without falling off and without getting streaks of glue in there. So hats off to me for that. Anyway, yeah, that was the hardest part of that kit to build, was putting those clear lenses in there without making glue streaks. But yeah, the clear lenses, the fact that it comes with two different heads that you can choose at your convenience, at your whim, whether you want them to have an open mouth or a closed mouth. And the fact that this kit is put together with pins and magnets, no glue necessary except for the eyes. It's game changing. So in that, all of those respects, I have to give the edge to the KOC, even though if you're not a model builder and you want to get a fantastic version of the 64 Godzilla, it's the same sculptor. Akira Ibaraki-san did a phenomenal job on both. So you can't lose if you have one or the other. I've got both, and I'm stoked.
Rich, your turn. Which one do you think is better?
I gotta rewind. We're comparing the KOC 64 to which one?
The one that, because the original 30cm 64, because they're both sculpted by Ibaraki. But which one do you
I
think?
did not know that.
Yes.
Yes, they were. Same dude.
Now, I know you're trying to say before you review. I understand that. But which one do you think is better?
KOC.
Thanks, Christine.
KOC.
KOC. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next question. Which one do you think? Oh my God. Which one do you think is the best? You know, we're doing it right now. Which one do you think is the best in this pack? If you want to take some time, like maybe 10 or 15 seconds just to think about it, instead of blurting anything out there. So we can vamp for a couple seconds.
Do you want to switch it up, or do I have to go first?
Whoever wants to go first, how about this? Who wants to go first?
You haven't run first yet.
Yes, it did. Didn't I?
Nope.
Oh, wait.
All right, screw it. I'll go first.
Yeah, this is question.
Whatever. All right, I'm gonna give a cop-out answer. Sorry. It's a tie between three. Now, if I had to choose one, gun to my head, it would be the KOC. Just because of all the things I just said. The detail is phenomenal. The proportions are phenomenal. The clear lenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, this guy is undeniably phenomenal. The rubber-skinned M1 50 centimeter 1964 Godzilla. This is one of the
Jessica will be stealing tonight.
Jessica will be stealing it. This is one of the very first kits that I ever put together.
I'm in this room, so.
And back when I wasn't even that skilled, so it was really hard to put this thing together. The rubber didn't want to, the glue didn't want to work on the rubber and everything. And again, this one also has clear lenses, and I did get a little bit of glue residue on there. But anyway, it's still a phenomenal kit, undeniably awesome. When people come into my collection room, this is the thing that people look at first, really. Their eye kind of goes right to it. So undeniably awesome. And then I have to give a shout out to the Pilot Ace for a soft vinyl representation.
That's beautiful.
Now, a lot of people don't have this kit. I'm sorry, this figure. This is of course Pilot Ace, and this is the black version, and it's just phenomenal. And if you can look at the face, it really nails that stare that we were talking about, that sort of like evil stare. And it's a nice big figure, and it actually comes with a little tiny Mothra versus Godzilla
Yo, that's awesome.
figure, which is so great about Pilot Ace. I know Christine is a huge Pilot Ace; she's after him now. But Nev, Michael, and I are really the Pilot Ace people, and also Dan Miller. But the fact that it comes with a little extra, and they're big and clunky and super expensive and super hard to get now. These are just like toy graphs, really, really hard to find. If you see one for under $500, snap it up immediately because they're just really amazing figures. And anyway, I had to give a shout out to a soft vinyl representation too. So that's it for me. I don't know who's next now.
Okay. I was like, I love Rich's 64. The one that you painted, that's just beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, I've been staring at it too. It's like, man, the freaking paint job on it is just a beautiful, beautiful color. I mean, it's beautiful. I like the figure too. The thing that does me, I'm just weird about some stuff. It's like the eyebrow thing. That to me is the 64. That's the icon. That's what I know 64 for. It's the eyebrows. Because that's the 64 we're watching. Yeah, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say by a slight edge, the rubber 1964.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's my fave, and right behind is Rich's.
So
okay?
mine.
Yeah.
Rich's.
Yeah, but it's like like I said, the paint job. It's just you did such a phenomenal job on it. And like I said, Leslie's been slobbering all over. Jessica came in and she's like, But
well, thank you. I really appreciate that. It makes me feel good.
It's fabulous. But yeah, I love the rubber 1964. The eyebrows and his jaws. I mean, you know me. I like the face. I like the face thing. It's just beautiful. Yeah, look at that. See, it's just a beautiful thing.
It is. And the rubber is so unique too. It's so unique.
And I like his dorsal plates and stuff like that. So,
I have a question for Leslie and Sandra. Do you have trouble with him getting dusty? Like, he's the only figure in my collection that gets hella dusty. He gets really dusty.
I'm gonna tell you who I have a whole lot of trouble with is my 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I got something to get that out of there. But yeah, that Joker, because it's so big, gets so dusty.
Yeah.
It really does.
The dust gets in these grooves in the rubber, and he's actually not as light as he looks as he appears because he's dusty. I don't know how to get it out without like taking the paint off, because he does have a couple of paint rubs over the years. I mean, I got this thing when we lived in New York City. So this is like from 1997, probably. I've had this since.
Either take an air blower, like blower and blow them, or take a soft paint brush like the bigger ones you paint off, and you can dust. Yeah. Or a cosmetic blush brush.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Softer than a paintbrush. Use a blush brush like the big ones. You can get the big ones, and that will dust it off like that too.
And plus, I don't have any issue with mine getting dusty because I keep my room closed off from the rest of the house.
So do I. And it still gets dusty. I don't understand.
But mine's more enclosed, and plus we don't have a problem with dust. At least not that much, because we pretty much clean on a daily basis. Not trying to say you don't, but I don't.
So I'm doing a freaking.
What are you trying to say, Leslie?
Dirty man.
Hey, I'm clean.
But seriously, I don't have an issue with
David's
mine.
gonna come to our house with the white gloves.
I mean, you guys know, you guys that have met Keith know that this house is fucking clean. Sorry.
So I don't really have an issue. Even when I picked mine up and took it in the car, brought it in the car a couple days ago, and mind you, I haven't touched it in a while.
No dust, yeah.
I haven't touched it in a while. It's not dusty. Like I said, I try to maintain my area as enclosed as I can, so nothing can really get in there. So I really haven't had that issue.
Well, I'm doing something wrong because he's dusty as hell right now.
Yeah, get your cosmetic blush.
Yep. I'm going to the drugstore. I'm going to Rite Aid right now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go next? In your opinion, what's the best one, or which one you want to walk out of here with?
Of course, the SH Monster.
I want to hear the merits of your decision.
Yeah, my mouth was like
it's not. I didn't think it's the worst.
Listen, I do. Everybody knocks on these figures, but I've never had a problem with mine falling apart. Any of them. And I know they are super sensitive, but I do love this sculpt. I mean, for a little.
Yes, the sculpt is great. The sculpt is give you that. I give you that.
Point on point. I mean,
Very
it's
detailed.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Even when they came out with the second version of him, the dirty version, when he came out of the,
Isn't that the dirty version?
Yeah, this is the dirty version. That's
the standard of the red.
But
Uh-oh.
his breath. But yeah, I love him. And it's not just because I'm the queen of the monster arts.
The sculpt is great, Jessica. The sculpt, I have no problem with the sculpt, but I took that son of a bitch outside to take a photograph.
I remember
and the tail came apart, that little piece, and it fell into the garden, and I lost it for a whole year. I found it when I was digging the year after. So it's like you look at those SH Monster Arts figures and they fall apart. You look at them wrong, they're like, whoop.
Yeah,
I mean, but the sculpts are phenomenal.
Yeah. I've never had a problem with mine falling apart, and I mean, you guys know I move them all around.
Yeah,
and take
I agree.
pictures
I
and stuff.
agree. As far as monster arts goes.
But as far as out of all of them, I gotta say, it's the M1. It's
undeniably awesome.
absolutely fantastic. I fell in love with this thing at G-Fest.
What was that year we brought it?
2 years ago? 3 years ago?
I think no.
That was like 4 years ago. Yeah.
All right, 4 years ago. I was on the panel, and it was sitting right in front of me, and I kept on like bouncing the tail. I just remember looking at it like, this thing looks absolutely amazing. And I don't know. It's just the sculpt is on point. It's huge. It's everything I would have wanted as a kid, and just a big Godzilla toy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I would have lost my mind if I had that as a kid. I would have lost my mind.
Pig and shit status happening.
That's right. But who would have built it for me, though?
Yeah.
At that point, it wouldn't matter. You just have it,
Right?
Yep.
You had it, you got
just
the
swing the tail around.
Who you want to go next, me or you?
You go.
I'll go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh Jesus! Oh,
bless you, child.
Oh,
bless
God.
you.
Yes, I'm gonna need it. Oh,
Well,
Jesus.
if you don't want yours anymore, I would take it.
Wait. Which does not want anymore?
I'm just saying, if he
I mean, we're married to
if
yours
he,
anyway.
if he ditches the M1, I'll just take it. I'm sorry.
If I don't gotta fight him, then
Yeah.
I'll fight you. and then I'll fight Jess.
Why can't we be friends?
I know.
Why can't we?
He's not ditching that M1. He's not ditching that M1. So don't even think, nope.
Speakers, Kaiju reviews, live stream. UFC 427, M1 fight. ESPN 20 plus.
But I have to say, it's kind of like a little bit long answer, but I know that the gigantic X Plus is a misfire in a lot of respects, but it's not my favorite. But I have to mention this. I love it despite its shortcomings. I have both the Rick and Sandra got me the standard from AJ Russo's on Kaiju Live. It came out of nowhere. I didn't know I was going to get it, but she was like, "Look, if you want it and if it's going to make you happy, I'll help you get it." So that figure is really sentimental to me, despite it being a misfire. So thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you very much. But I have to say, I've been watching or looking at Rich's KOC. Like,
rolling over it.
That's the thing. We've been talking nonstop, but it's like the way we've been talking. I would, let's say the KOC is over here behind me. We've been talking like, yeah.
You've been staring at it hardcore.
He did it all
Yesterday, even yesterday especially, before we did our show, or Fresh Vinyl Live, our show, you were like just.
Well, Rich was cooking breakfast. He's like,
even though I was cooking dinner, it was over there where it was standing, and you were just.
You were telling me
I thought something was wrong.
I was
like, right.
Rich and I are talking, and Leslie's off in his own, over there.
Zoned out.
Zoned out.
He was telling me everything about, him being in the Navy and just the things about himself, whatever. And I'm listening. I really am. But the chaos. But
that time I had to smack him like, "Hey, I'm talking here."
Yeah.
My eyes are up here. Eyes up here.
The KOC was like crack, and I'm a crackhead. It kept calling me.
I am your cocaine dealer. Here's your cocaine.
But I have to say, I have to give one. And I love the KOC, but I'm still sticking with my M1. Just ever so slightly. Nothing with the KOC, but I love the rubber aspect of my figure. I love it that it's bigger. I mean, for me, KOC and the M1 are top two. You can interchange both of them in the top spot.
I think I agree with that.
The M1 looks like an actual movie prop that could have been used on Mothra vs. Godzilla, whereas the KOC, he looks just like Godzilla. He looks just like the monster. And that's like the highest two compliments you can throw those figures' way. But for me, I'm still going with the M1. With the 1.5 to the KO.
Fair enough. It's great. Now, all of us together, and those of you in the chat room too, we have to find one for Leslie, and just send it to me, and I'll build it for him. So if you really want one, we'll find one for you.
Please.
We'll find one.
Now, last, certainly but not least, Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself.
So which one would I pick? Okay, shut up. Okay, so anybody that watches my videos over the last however many years knows that the Brick 64 is my absolute favorite. Damn, I just got the whole ointment. So this is my favorite piece of my collection. For many reasons. It's autographed by Akira Takarada. It's autographed by Haru Nakajima.
That's phenomenal.
This is a one-of-a-kind figure, hands down. With that said, it was probably about 30 minutes ago when it hit me as to... Now, if this is my favorite piece in the collection, and you're asking me which is my favorite 64, well, that just means the KOC became my favorite.
Oh,
it is my favorite. It beats the X Plus, but as this beats the X Plus on sentimental reasons because of what this figure has, autographed by Nakajima, it's irreplaceable. You cannot get Nakajima's autograph anymore.
Yeah, that's irreplaceable for sure.
We don't live forever, people. One life. Takarada's signature is on there as well. So it holds heavy sentimental value to it. On top of it, forget about the autograph for a moment. This is one of the most sought after X Plus figures ever.
True story.
Absolutely.
You know, closed mouth. Absolutely. Add the blue light up dorsal plates. That still work. Bam.
It still work.
It-
That's the key right there.
When it comes to really capturing everything that the 64 is, the KOC, and I've been battling this. You challenge me when it comes to favorites or top list, and I don't do that because
I apologize.
it's okay. I'll still, but it's hard to pick a favorite, But it hit me about 30 minutes ago while we were sitting here talking. Listen, everybody say this, that, the other thing, but it's this one. But now this also holds sentimental value because it's the 64. It's 40 centimeters of gloriness, of resin freshness. Yes, absolutely. But David, I said this to you right from the get-go. I asked you, would you build this? At the time I thought you got to put it together, pins, this, that, the other thing, glue, staples, duct tape, whatever the hell you use. Of course, then I found out that it was pinned already, and it's idiot proof, which is great because I am no kid builder. I cannot paint for my life. But
I'm the same way.
having David he said yes, he'd be happy to do it. It meant so much more than David just did.
Right.
No, this is true. I'll probably say this on my review, whatever, but
Aw,
you
thanks.
did, knowing that the 64 is your favorite also,
It is.
knowing that it's you, I've known you since 2013, and like you said earlier today before we went on, met in person in 2014. Having this in your hands, and you brought it to life. And now this is my favorite 64, which is now my favorite collectible in my entire Godzilla collection.
All right.
Oh my god. That you don't know what that means to me, man. That means the world to me.
I'm saying it right now. Like, your hand has been on this piece, and like you can't replace that. You can't replicate that. It's just so that it really comes down to like when I look at favorites, and it's very hard for me to pick favorites, but right here, KOC, hands down.
Man, that means the world to me. You don't even know. I mean, it makes it all worthwhile. And thank you for being really patient, because it took a really long time for me to build it, because I wanted to, like, I hadn't been feeling myself, and I kind of lost my mojo, and I waited to get it back so I could do justice to it for you. And believe me, when I shipped that thing off, I was a nervous wreck until it got to your house safely, because there's no other way I would ever do a resin kit of that size built and painted, because it would be broken in pieces. But thank you.
You were nervous about shipping it.
I was so nervous about shipping it, because it's like I know it wouldn't be on me, but I would feel so bad if it was broken, And then when you took it out of the box and you dropped the head, I was like, oh.
I know. My God. Hurt more than my fucking foot did, because it hurt my foot bad. I want to go back to what you were saying about doing the kit justice.
Yeah.
I had any doubt that you would do this justice. I know you had some. You asked me about the paint job, this, that, the other thing. But I told you I want you to paint it in your vision. That's what makes it special. It's your vision. I knew you would do it justice with your vision. I trusted your vision. So it's so sentimental in so many ways to be the heart of my collection. Boom.
That means the world to me, coming from you, because like I said, Rich was one of the first people that I met in this whole crazy community in 2013 on the X Plus group. And then he sort of talked me into going to G-Fest for my first time. I wasn't going to go. And he was the first person I met at G-Fest. I met him in the lobby, and we acted like we knew each other forever. Yeah. And he's been to the
suspenders up to the neck and everything.
Rich has been to my house before. Rich has been to Japan with me and Keith. And I got to say this too, Leslie, you'll appreciate this. Rich basically gave me my start doing this whole thing. I was really nervous about being on camera, et cetera, et cetera. And my experiences on Fresh Vinyl Live gave me the confidence to be able to do what I do now on Collectible Monsters. And I have him to thank for that, for letting me be on his show, and also being on stage at G-Fest, because that was it totally broke the ice. I'm like, I can do this. I can be up here. And the thing is, I used to be a stutterer. I just did it now. When I was a kid. So the fact that I can do this now, it just means the world to me. And your kind words mean the world to me. So enough about me. Stop. Thank you.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we all have different opinions. We didn't all necessarily agree on the same thing, but we were able to have a mature, fun discussion. And at the end of the day, we're still friends and still close with each other. So hopefully more Godzilla fans can get on that type of philosophy.
Yes, please.
But as you can see here, we got, between all of us, we have, the best 64s out there. And, just because we picked a certain one doesn't mean that, the other ones are inferior. So if you're out there and if you view the gigantic S Plus as your favorite, or the 25 centimeter as your favorite, or the 64B as your favorite, the M1, the Para Babies, or the other kits that's out there, Monster Maker 28, the SH Monster Arts, whatever, there's no wrong answer here.
Something for everyone.
There's something for everyone, just like Godzilla itself. And who would have thought that a monster that was born from a real life tragedy would bring so many people, so many different people all over the world together to have
astounding.
fun.
It's
and
astounding.
That's exactly what has happened. So basically, you know what? Leave it up to y'all. Which one do you think was the best 64? Pipe down in the comment section. Let us know. But you heard it from us. Now we want to hear from y'all. So put your answer in the comment section. And that's pretty much all we want to do for this short little show because we got some.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
Oh, really?
Why do I got to repeat
Go
myself?
1 second.
Okay.
I
Oh
said
yeah.
at the
Go ahead.
beginning.
Go ahead.
You
Go
gotta
ahead.
say hi.
Go ahead.
You didn't say hi to her.
I said I love
I don't know.
Christine.
She said she's not. You didn't say hi to her.
All right. So
Gotcha.
my girl Christine, I love you so much. I mean, you have helped me build my Anguirus collection to what it is. Everybody knows it would not be what it is today without you. And one of my newest pieces, Christine also helped me acquire. I saw this on Friday, late afternoon, and I panicked, and I probably sent Christine a good, 10, 15 messages, immediately, blowing her phone up. I love you, girl. Sorry. But this thing is gorgeous. This is a candy piece marmot, candy case marmot sample piece that they never used.
Oh, cool. Let's see that sucker.
On this thing are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, wow. That's neat. Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Nice colors.
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Again, I can't thank you enough, Christine. You're always there for me. I love you, girl.
That's
All right.
nice.
All right, very nice.
Thank you for showing that as well as your awesome bust of Anguirus. Show it one more time before we get up out of here.
Yeah, that's just insane. That's very cool.
Though, that is a beast.
That suit size right there.
Godzilla's right-hand man right there.
Yep.
The loyal, the always down, ride-or-die kaiju himself.
Throw down the
Anguirus.
chicken shit.
Yes, he was. And that's pretty much it with the show, this short little show that we have for y'all today. Once again, when Sandra and I decided to come up here and visit Rich, we had to do something for our respective channels. So I want to thank Jessica for coming up here, being a part of this awesome show. And
It's great to see everybody.
of course, my awesome co-host on Collect All Monsters, Eric Dopko. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for inviting me. I feel so special being part of you guys, hanging out with you guys today.
Of course, my beautiful wife, Sandra, Queen GMK right here. Yes, thank you so much. And of course, this guy right here. Hey, turn around.
Bam!
This guy right here, I went overboard last night, but I was just speaking the
You're
truth.
fine.
I was speaking the truth, but this guy has really gone out of his way to show me and Sandra a good time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
From the food, from the conversations, from just
We're
having
barbecue next.
Yes, just having a great time. Vacations is supposed to be about, you're taking a break from work, you're seeing your friends, but you're leaving all your cares and worries behind. And
That's right.
Richard has done a phenomenal job, the perfect job of doing that for us. We We don't regret coming here. He was well worth the trip. He was well worth the 11 and a half hours it took to get here.
Woo.
Awesome. And of course, Jessica being here.
Yes.
It's been a great time had by all. And AJ Russo, John Ruffin, we're on our way to come see y'all.
The stealing your passion, boy.
Leslie,
Yes.
West Coast next.
Oh, yeah.
And yes,
West Coast next.
and yes, and
West
West
Coast
Coast, David,
Yes.
I'm coming out again.
we're coming out to see
Please.
you. Things are getting better, you know.
Anytime, Rich. Anytime.
We still got work
Jessica,
to
you
do.
too.
We still got work to do, you know. We still got work. We're not out of the woods yet, but we still got work to do. Please do the right thing. Mask up, get vaccinated, do what you have to do. But this is not a question of if, a question of when. Sandra and I will be in Seattle. We will
Woohoo!
have a good time. Then we're gonna go and see Kyle. Yes. We're gonna have a great time. Yes. So thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for watching this show on what was the best Godzilla collectible of the 1964 Mothra Goji Godzilla from Mothra versus Godzilla. Again, let your voice be heard in the chat. Let us know what you think is the best 1964 Godzilla collectible in the world right now. It's all up to you. Put it in the comment section. We'll see y'all again on the next episode of Collect All Monsters. You know, Rich got some content coming up. You know what I'm saying? I got more content on Let's Chambers Kaiju reviews. And you know what? Let's finish it out with our catchphrase. You go first.
And remember, people, buy vinyl, fresh vinyl. That's what I hate to do.
And as I always say, we thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we will see y'all again on that Figure Move review. Everybody say yes with me one more time.
Yes.
You go,
Yes.
people.
What's up?